Are you as distraught as Kyle Matson was about the thought of Mac Jones potentially being under center this weekend?
No, not at all, man. Especially when my thing with Mac Jones has been you can get by with him for a game or two. And if that's all
Mhm.
that this is, I have no problem with that. I think they'll beat New Orleans relatively easily with Mac Jones under center. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I'm really impressed with the 49ers defense on Sunday and what they're able to do if they're going up against a team that isn't loaded with offensive weapons. They still may be able to stop teams with a lot of offensive weapons, but
Mhm.
I'm very confident if you don't have enough weapons at the quarterback position, outside of the wide receiver position, in those areas, it's going to be a tough day for anybody going up against that 49er defense. So as long as Mac Jones doesn't turn the ball over multiple times, they should handle that game relatively easily with him under center.
He the
Yeah,
ball to CMC about 35, 40 times that day, I think.
that's what you did. I mean,
30 plus at
CMC got a
least.
lot of touches in week 1, yeah? Let's not
He,
forget, we
I
weren't 100% sure he was going to play on
the
Sunday.
Niners win this game, I think. Like, you don't have to be great. It's just don't let Mac Jones do too much.
yeah, and I mean, even with that, like you want Mac Jones throwing the ball maybe 22, 23 times. You know, that's the sweet spot right there. That means you are moving the ball on the ground. Um, and even when you move the ball on the ground, it doesn't necessarily always have to be CMC. Now
Mhm.
that you have Brian Robinson, you got a
Mhm.
week under his belt. Maybe he gets 10, 11 of those carries. But let Mac Jones drop back, like I said, about 23 to 25 times. A lot of a lot of easy pitch and catch opportunities for him. You know, don't ask him to force too much.
But that gets a little more difficult with Kittle gone, no?
I mean, yes, it does to answer your question, but I'm just Kyle Shanahan has gotten a number of different people open. And
Okay.
if it's Tunges, if it's Farrell, if it's Kendrick Bourne, there'll be guys wide
Hell,
open.
shout out to Tunges. He wasn't even open on that last play.
Right.
And I said probably 35, 40 carries. I mean, like 35, 40 touches for McCaffrey. So if you got
Sure.
to swing him out for some check downs about 10 times this game, then just feed your best player with the ball.
So, and that's the thing right there is the guy we could talk about Tunges. We could talk about different tight ends, slots, all of that stuff. The guy who might make up the most for George Kittle being gone from an offensive perspective, obviously you have to take the blocking out of this, is Christian McCaffrey.
Mhm.
Because the pitch and catch that you're talking about right there with Mac Jones and whoever could wind up being, as Jesse pointed out, Christian McCaffrey.
For sure. For sure. Scooter in the chat, he says get Robinson more involved this week. Absolutely no reason to overload CMC now. Um, and I get that train of thought. Two things. Number one, Robinson is still learning the system, learning the offensive system. So, I mean, there's only so much that you can implement with him in the lineup and that he's prepared for and understands with that offensive scheme. Also, I really don't, and I'm not saying this is what Scooter was saying, but I don't look at the 49ers of having the luxury of not going all out to beat anybody at this point. You got to win this game against New Orleans. If that means CMC has to have, like Jesse said, 30, 35 touches in the game, so be it.
Mhm.
Like, you've got to win this game. When you get into a situation, maybe if you're up 2, 3 scores late in the game, yeah, you don't need him out there, taking snaps at that point. Maybe you can get more to Robinson to close it out. But just in general with this team, week 2 and in the future, he's I understand everybody's concerned. I'm concerned as well. But this is the team you got. This is your best chance of winning. You're not going into any of these games, I believe, saying we got to conserve Christian McCaffrey. Like, you're doing whatever that game calls at that time. That game on Sunday, and that might have been the case on Sunday. Maybe you didn't want to give him all those catches or give him all those, but we had to win.
Yeah.
So when you saw what was going on in the third quarter and you lost Kittle and you lost Juwan Jennings, all right, CMC, you out there every snap. Like, we've got to win, and you give us the best opportunity to win. It's unfortunate but I'm not worried about the snap count at that point.
Unless you are specifically doctor prescribed snap count, minutes restriction, something like that. I don't think players, whether they're coming off mispractices or non-serious ailments, I don't think that that's realistic. Oh man, we don't need to get the ball 30 times to Christian. No, like once you're out there, you're there. And if the right play is to find Christian McCaffrey, you find Christian McCaffrey. If the right play is to find Christian McCaffrey 6 times in a row, you find Christian McCaffrey 6 times in a row. You find Christian McCaffrey or whoever this player is until the defense stops you. Mm-hmm. And I know we talk about that as fans. I know we talk about that, kind of just as talking points about like teams and just sports conversations and all that. I don't think those are realistic conversations in locker rooms unless it's prescribed by a doctor. And in that case, normally you're told that. Yeah, so-and-so is going to be on a snap count today. And it's rarely a wide receiver or a running back. Mm-hmm. But it happens. It's just I don't think that it doesn't appear at all that was the case with Christian McCaffrey. So we don't need to turn it into one and say, oh, his usage rate was too high. No, he was effective for you. And in 2 different facets of the game.
And I don't think Kyle Shanahan likes to coach like that. I think he's a believer of if you're going to play, you're going to play with the full playbook. Like we're not doing snap counts, none of that other stuff. If you can't do that, then I'm gonna just have you sit because the way my offense goes and the way I like to coach when we talk about Kyle Shanahan, I need everybody out there to be on full display and be at the top of their capabilities. So if there's any concern about snap count or anything, I think Kyle would just sit the player.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. TCG says right here is what we're talking about. Second game of the season. It is not must win. You overplay Christian McCaffrey and get him hurt for the rest of the season. Season over. You have capable bodies to spell him. BRJ and Granado use them. And that's kind of what we were just talking about. I don't think that's a thing. You just have to play him. I don't think they look at it like, oh, it's a long season. Here's what we're going to do. We've got the Saints coming up this week. How can we win that game?
Right. And here's the other thing, TCG, that I disagree with. You're not the 2023 49ers. You're not the Eagles where you can say, we can fall back on this game because we're probably going to win 13, 14 games or something like that. Like we're good. That's not where the Niners are. The Niners are a fringe contender. Mm-hmm. You're trying to get into a situation where if you get to the playoffs, number one, get to the playoffs. Yeah. Number two, get to the playoffs. You want to make sure it's because you won a division and you got a home game. In that respect, 18 games isn't as many games as you think. And if you've got an opportunity to win, you go into the game thinking we need to handle business. Now, once you get into the game, and if like I said, you're up 24 points at the start of the fourth quarter, yes, you make the adjustment. You give Robinson more snaps or anything like that, or Garindo more snaps. But going into the game, no, we're not gonna overwork CMC. You don't have that luxury. You're not that team right now where you can do that.
Yeah, and that's the other component too. Like you could get hurt at any moment, whether it's Christian McCaffrey or it's Fred Warner or it's Trent Williams or it's Jawan Jennings or it's George Kittle or it's Brock Purdy. You've got one all-pro that's healthy right now. You're going to have to utilize it.
Absolutely.
And I say healthy. This was the one we were the most worried about going into Sunday. Every other name we just referenced happened on Sunday. Mm-hmm. You've got to play guys while you can't. Who's to say you play Christian McCaffrey 50 snaps? He comes out great, but Fred Warner gets hurt in the first quarter. Or Bosa gets hurt. Like, that's just that's why I say I don't think teams approach games like this.
You were conservative with how you brought him back last year and all this other stuff, and he gets hurt in the first quarter of the game against the Bills. Mm-hmm. Like I know people like to think that, if you just don't play a guy, it's going to make them more healthier. Mm-hmm. That's not how things work.
Load management.
Yeah, that's not how it works. That's not reality. There are guys who play every snap and don't get hurt. There are guys who step out there after load management or not playing a whole lot and get hurt in the first 5 minutes of the game. If there was an exact science, then everybody would do it.
And we
How
also
about
point
that?
out Christian McCaffrey could be a big reason if Mac Jones is successful. If Mac Jones plays this weekend, and if Mac Jones is successful this weekend, I think a big reason for that will be what Christian McCaffrey is able to bring to this conversation. Again, knowing that George Kittle is out, not quite knowing the status of Jawan Jennings, who I think is getting a CT scan today, which we probably won't get the results on until either late today or tomorrow. But you want to put your quarterback in a position to be successful because, you know, obviously Kyle Shanahan, that 49ers front office, they know more than we do, but we might think Brock is out one game, but in reality, Brock could be out 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. And if that's the case, you not only need to find a way to win games, you need to find a way to build confidence in Mac Jones as this thing goes along to where he can manage all this. Because if that's the case, if it's completely hypothetical situation right there, he's going to be doing it all without George Kittle too. Like, we know that for sure. We don't know the status of everybody else, but we know that about George Kittle. And you have to do things that just allow Mac Jones the ability to build confidence. And with Kyle Shanahan as a play caller, I feel like we're in a similar conversation that we were a week ago or 2 weeks ago with the Los Angeles Rams. Their season dramatically changes if Matt Stafford is out for a lengthy period of time and Jimmy Garoppolo becomes your quarterback. Now, the one thing that you could hang on to is the success that Jimmy Garoppolo had with Kyle Shanahan. And if there is a single coach in the entire league that could potentially replicate that, is Sean McVay. We haven't really seen any level of success with Mac Jones, but he's a young quarterback who, with injuries aside, a solid offense, one of the best play callers in the league, he might be in his very best position to succeed that he's been in his career. Yeah. Sam Darnold, like, that was you go back to Sam Darnold, it was the first glimpse, like, hey, it was in San Francisco. Sam Darnold appears to be a good quarterback. Like, he's out of the dysfunction of the New York Jets organization. He's out of the dysfunction of some of the other places that he's been. Oh, he looks all right. And I thought he was fine on Sunday. You know, we'll see how the season plays out for him. And obviously he was really successful last year with Minnesota. Kyle deserves a lot of credit for that. I mean, Sam Darnold certainly does too, but Kyle deserves a lot of credit for that. And this could be a situation where, you have an opportunity to turn a young quarterback who isn't bad into something that could be pretty serviceable. Watch Caleb Williams. Maybe that first drive and call it a day.
Can never take that away from you, Bears fans.
So, my main man, Alan, a Bears fan, I talk to him often.
He gets a lot of run on the show. He's the only Bears fan we know. It's a lot like Io, the Cleveland insider. You just kind of work with what you have.
And I was not even from Chicago.
We've got one Cleveland insider. We've got one Bears insider.
He's from Queens. He's a Bears fan.
Well, that's unfortunate. But I guess it beats the Jets.
Or the Giants. We go back and forth about Caleb all the time. And I say, look, I don't think Caleb is like a bad quarterback, but there's something missing with him. He's got all the tools. Physically, he can do everything that you need. But I was watching that game last night, and you know what the problem is? You know what the main problem for Caleb Williams is? He can't throw.
Well, yeah.
That's going to be a problem if you're the quarterback.
We were watching him warm up with some sort of weighted ball in his hand. And we don't know what he was aiming for. It just didn't look like he was hitting his target at any point. Like, none.
That's his issue. He can, when he throws it, that thing is 90 miles per hour. Like, he's got all the tools. It's easy for him to do that. But if I say hit this point right here, he can't do it consistently. And there were 2 plays. watching that game that signified it. I don't have the timestamp, but there was a 4th and 3 that Moore went across the middle. He was there. He was open. Caleb just was inaccurate. He was just inaccurate. And then it was 17-6, I think, in the fourth quarter. Maybe it was 17-12 at that time. And the tight end, just a gaping hole in the middle of the field, wide open. And Caleb sees him and just fires it past him. He can't throw. I've seen enough. I felt this way at USC. I felt this way his rookie year. And I just think that's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can win with him because he's talented, but you need the right weapons around him. You need the right coach around him to simplify things as much as possible. And maybe that's what Ben Johnson can do. But the homie said it the best. He's a guy who can hit a fall away three with a hand in his face, but he can't make a free throw.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. Was Caleb Williams good in college?
What do you think he is right now?
What do I think he is right now?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's under a lot of pressure to be good. I think he's a little overhyped, a little underdeveloped, and he might not be ready to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
I only asked that because that's what he was in college. Whatever you think of him right now is what he was at SC.
So the idea was, and I remember, no, I think that's completely accurate because I remember thinking that last year, are we sure? Like we're sure, like we're positive.
Mm-hmm.
And like I understand the idea of drafting on potential. It is a dangerous game to play, but I understand when you see physical tools that might be a little raw, but you see those gifts, like, oh yeah, we can. We're the National Football League. We can mold that, and it's like, okay, not quite yet, not quite yet, and but this is now Ben Johnson's task. Ben Johnson's task isn't just to be the head coach and the coordinator and the play caller and all of that stuff. He took this job, and look, we were a part of this. We said this Chicago Bears job was the one. This was the one, and Caleb was part of the reason. Caleb was the main reason why. It's like you get a play caller in there like Ben Johnson. You have a guy who could take this potential and turn it into something. And I this is part of week one and overreactions. I don't think Caleb is trash. I actually think Caleb looked a little bit better yesterday than he did at most points last year. But for what he was and the way he was talked about, I tried to resist scratching my head about it last year. But at this point, if this is what it looks like, it's like, it was just the assessment on this young man a little wrong.
I believe he's too talented to be a bad quarterback. He's just got too much raw ability to be bad. I do think, though, you're going to need to do a lot of work with him if you're Ben Johnson. You're going to have to work on simplifying the offense, simplifying his reads and his throws, putting the weapons around him in place. You might have to be a run first type team.
Mm-hmm.
You might have to find a way to turn him into a game manager as opposed to, and once again, it has a negative connotation, but you can win a lot of games. You can win a Super Bowl with a quote unquote game manager if you manage it the right way and you have the right pieces around him. But you might have to turn into being a run first type team as opposed to saying, hey, Caleb, be Lamar Jackson, be Josh Allen because you were the number one pick and lead us there. Be Jaden Daniels and lead us there. I don't know if that's the way you win with Caleb Williams as your quarterback. Because there's the accuracy issue, which is a major
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But there's also
That's kind of important in the
just
NFL.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Quarterback, that's important.
But then there's also like, I don't know if he always sees the field the right way.
Mhm.
You know, there are flaws there that you have to work around. But I do think they can be worked around. Like, I think he can be a good quarterback and be a winning quarterback in this league. But it feels like everything else around him has to be perfect. And I'm sorry, but even then, Ben calls up like, hey, just a little check down or whatever. And he sells it 4 feet over the guy's head. He's wide open.
Yeah.
Hit him in the chest.
Yeah. I saw something on Instagram where it was like Caleb almost killed a fan with this throw. He overthrew him so bad and so aggressively. He hit a fan and he could have taken him out.
Maybe it's mechanical too. Maybe it's something you get him with a quarterback doctor and he fixed the mechanics of his footwork and all this other stuff. But maybe that's the case.
But it shouldn't take this long to address if that's the case, no?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in the league a year.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my other question is, it's Chicago, whether we like it or not, that is a very high profile job. That is a massive market. That is a passionate fan base. It never matters what their record is. It's the quarterback position, which always seems to be a conversation in Chicago. And then you add in the dynamic of this, this kind of fresh part of the dynamic is, the new hotness with the play caller,
mm-hmm.
who's also the head coach, and Ben Johnson. I'll say it as a statement rather than a question. There's no reason to give up on him yet.
Absolutely not.
You can have your concerns. I don't think you have to give up on this young man yet, but you've got to. There are things that you have. There are things about him that just look odd. As like a quarterback, they just look odd.
He looks a little frantic sometimes. Like it just. JJ McCarthy looked different yesterday. Now, he didn't play great, but as a quarterback, he looked different. He didn't always throw a fastball over the middle of the field to get to the guy. But if it was an out route, I remember specifically, I think in that fourth quarter, there was an out route to what's the tight end's name for TJ Hawkinson? There was a out route, 5-yard out route to him. McCarthy put it to him in stride where he's supposed to get it. There was no reaching for it. It was right there, right there. And it wasn't a fastball, but it was perfectly placed. And that's what he does. That's what you want your franchise quarterback to be able to do. Yeah, it's cool to be able to, evade the rush and, spin around backwards and then throw it off your back foot 40 yards. That's cool. But I need you to make the gimmies. I need you to make the layups. And Caleb hasn't shown in a year and one game to always be able to make the gimmies. And he showed that at USC too, though. That's the other thing that
right
makes me question it.
Sure. Trista. Hold on, where'd it go? Darth Trista. Yeah, she sound like a 60-year-old smoker.
Like the lady, remember, who smokes through her throat? Remember that commercial?
Oh, of course. That lady, like, ma'am, you gotta stop.
No, that was the crazy part.
Never for ma'am.
That was the crazy part. She's got that and she's still smoking.
Like, smoke. Do you remember that commercial? Anyone who ever saw that commercial will never forget it. The old lady smoking through her throat.
It's an older one, right?
Yeah. This is like the I'm falling, I can't get up era.
Yeah. That was crazy. Yeah, I mean, scarred for life. We're all scarred for life with that one.
Yeah, but you know what? It worked.
It worked.
We remember it.
I don't know.
I don't remember what it was for.
It was for
I'm sure it's like anti-smoking
nicotine.
society or whatever. But
and I wasn't gonna smoke anyway, so I didn't need you to do that. But maybe somebody did.
What's the most memorable commercial from like your childhood? What's like a commercial you remember today?
The very first one that came to my mind when you said that is Go See Cal.
Go See Cal Worthington and his dog spot.
If I think a little bit more, maybe I can figure something else out. They had the what was the jewelry man?
No, are you No, he used to sing songs.
Yeah.
Paul
Paul
it Paul
Diamond?
the Diamond? Was it Paul the
Yeah,
Diamond?
so-
Paul Diamond? Paul the Diamond?
Mind you, a lot
Yeah.
of this was on 31, whatever
Yeah,
that
yeah,
station was.
absolutely. It was on
Yeah.
Superstars of Wrestling. That's when it was on.
So we got that. We have
See, Cut and Peace saying, I remember him singing, I'm a credit man. The Diamond Center. Where'd it go? Paul from the Diamond Center.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Paul from the Diamond Center. That is terrific.
I remember that. I remember the Men's Warehouse. I guarantee.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He was doing that. He was doing the voiceover for that spot. Like it was late because his voice was weak. The last time I heard,
is he still with us?
I have to imagine he's not.
Poor guy.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that that's true. I think he lived a solid life. That was the Men's Warehouse, right?
Yeah, Men's Warehouse. Yeah. Those are the three that come to mind.
I don't know how to look up that man.
Obviously, Got Milk was big time. Of the Got Milk series,
Remember with the one with the little kid and then the grown up, like it would be like a kid drinking milk, and then all of a sudden, like a professional athlete would appear.
The one I remember the most is Adam Burr. Remember where he was listening to the radio?
No, Aaron Burr.
Is it Aaron Burr? Oh.
Yeah, Aaron Burr.
Aaron Burr. Yeah, I remember that one the most.
That was a milk commercial. Oh yeah, because he has the. Hold on, let me get some milk.
Aaron Burr.
Sorry, sir.
Like, hello, we can't hear you, sir.
I'm trying to find out if the Men's Warehouse, George, is it George Zimmer? Yes, is George Zimmer with us? He is.
Let's get him on the show.
George,
Chase him down.
Is this right? George Zimmer, founder of the Men's Warehouse. He's 76 years old and he's still with us.
He can coach the NFL team.
Let's go. Well,
he
could. He could. He was the founder, executive chair, and former CEO all the way up until 2013. Good for George.
Now he's retired, living life. Went to the Men's Warehouse.
Lives in Oakland.
Oh,
Jesse, get George Zimmer on the line.
Talk to George. George, does he still have decision-making power? Because he could sponsor this segment.
Zimmer is well, yes, he's still working. He's the founder and chairman and CEO of Generation Tux, an online tuxedo and suit rental platform. We can rent our suits for Jesse's wedding at Generation Tux.
Come on.
Jesse, you got your tux picked out already?
Wanda!
I almost went to
Wanda!
that spot.
Auntie Wanda! We got an idea.
We got one for you.
We got a live one. We got a live one. Okay. All right. Keep it moving here with week 1 overreactions. The Lions' performance on Sunday will be the calling card of their team. Come on, you know you want to do it.
It's not an overreaction.
Really? Wow. I didn't think you were going to actually say it.
That's not an overreaction because that ties in. I don't know if you saw it into the overreaction that I have. The Chiefs and the Lions will not make the playoffs this year. So if I think that, or I even pose that question, I got to say that game was indicative of how the season is going to go for the Lions. I know I threw another overreaction on top of the
Yes, you did.
But I had to explain why I say that's not
okay.
an overreaction.
I'm not overreacting. I don't love the Lions. We know Jesse doesn't like the Lions. I didn't think you'd get on board so quickly. I don't love them this year. But you, sir, I think you're overreacting. The Chiefs and the Lions won't make the playoffs? Playoffs? I'm going to say overreaction. You want in on this? Chiefs and Lions don't make the playoffs.
Overreaction. The Chiefs are
I think so too.
Yeah. Lions didn't look great. If they did it again week 2, I'd probably buy them more. The Chiefs, the worst I see them doing this season is like a 10-7 year, losing the first round.
Ooh, we just gonna get him 10 wins. I know it's the Chiefs, and I know
You think they're that bad?
I know they deserve the benefit of the doubt. I don't even know if they're that
I mean, they've been
bad.
to the Super Bowl a couple times.
I don't know
in a
if they're
row.
that bad, but that division ain't no cakewalk.
Are
That ain't division ain't no cakewalk, and their schedule ain't no
Are we
cakewalk.
going Notorious B.I.G. 1997 with Run DMC and praying for their downfall?
I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people are praying for them.
Oh, there absolutely are.
I don't know. I'm looking at that offense. Where are the weapons at right now? You got the ultimate.
Well, you
weapon.
got one.
You got the ultimate weapon.
Yeah, you got one.
I think Kelsey gonna have to show me something that he didn't show me last year.
Where were the weapons at last year, though?
And they got away with every fortune they could. What were they? 11-0, 9-0.
At some point, though, we got to chalk that up to just knowing how to win, though, right? I mean, you can't be lucky all the way to the Super Bowl.
But at some point, it's like that's gonna flip. It's like fumbles, right? Like, is there? Not saying like you have to have a skill to win those 1 point games, or 1 score games, but those things usually flip.
I guess, but they've been doing this for a couple of years now, where it's like they haven't played the best looking football the last couple of seasons, where like they got rid of Tyreek and stuff, and like it's been a lot uglier, but it's just somehow, some way, they always just know how to win. I feel. I don't think it's just a last season thing.
But here's the thing: the last couple of years, say 2 years ago, was that AFC West looking like the way it is right now?
No, I mean the Chargers are.
The Broncos were awful.
Chargers
The Raiders
are
were awful.
Broncos defense is well, okay. Let's not crown the Broncos yet.
Well, but I'm saying the Broncos the 2 years ago, that was them getting 70 put on their head by Miami.
I got you.
That team sunk.
Oh, 70.
Russell Wilson was the quarterback. Sean Payton was actively working against Russell Wilson.
True.
This
true.
2 years ago, it's different. And that I'm not going to say that's the only reason why they won, but that was part of the reason why you could just chalk them up for 11 wins, because they would just run roughshod over that division. That was 5 to 6 wins alone.
Mahomes was always going to do enough for them to be good enough to make playoffs,
I think so too.
I'd be pretty shocked if they didn't make playoffs with him.
Missing the playoffs to me would be really, really surprising. Really surprising.
Yeah, it's overreaction on that one.
Okay.
What else do we got here? Oh, well, we can actually throw out some of these other overreactions based on that conversation we just had. How about the Packers? The Packers are the best team coming out of week 1 in the NFC.
Not an overreaction.
That's your boy.
Jesse's squad.
If you look at how Philly played against Dallas, and I guess you're just going off of how Green Bay played against the Lions. I mean, I think the Packers were the best team coming out of week 1.
Those are the two teams we're talking about, right? Because the Packers beat the Lions, so you could take. I mean, you maybe you give the Commanders a little respect in this conversation. Nothing about that game made me feel like they're the best in the conference, and part of that is because they played the Giants, but the Packers beating the Lions, who I don't know that everybody feels the way that we do, and then the Eagles. Yeah. Feels like those are the two teams we're talking about. So we're asking, you to pick a better one.
It's not a crazy overreaction, but I'm gonna still say overreaction. I'm gonna go with the Eagles still being the best team in the NFC.
Yeah.
But Packers are right there, and they look really good on Sunday. Did what they were supposed to do in that situation.
How about that classic we saw on Sunday night? The Ravens and the Bills is the best game we're going to see all year long.
I'm going to say not overreaction.
Yeah, I'll go not overreaction. You're going to, like, there's plenty of games to be played, but, like, the Bills comeback, just the stories between these two teams.
That was epic.
That was Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, too. Like, that's, you're talking about 1 and 2 in the MVP race last year. You might be talking about 1 and 2 in the MVP race this year. We could be entering a Jokic-Giannis situation here where you've got guys. I mean, Jokic and Giannis aren't trading MVPs, but you got two guys that are dominating the league for a lengthy stretch of time. Lamar got his 2, lost his 3rd to Josh Allen. Josh Allen now looking for his 2. And the funny part about this is, to go back to the conversation we were just having, they both still have to dethrone Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes might not be winning any MVPs, but he is hosting hosting the Lamar Hunt Trophy every damn February and getting ready for that Super Bowl. And so it doesn't matter if one of these two win the MVP if they can't win that trophy and play in the last game of the season.
And to that,
and it's not even winning the Super Bowl at this point. It's beating the Chiefs.
Yeah, they beat the Chiefs and then lose to the Eagles or Packers in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like whatever. It's like, who's going to beat Patrick Mahomes?
To that point of I think this is the best game we'll see all year, but both of those teams play the Chiefs this year. And to your point of not only was it a great game, but it was Lamar versus Josh Allen, which made it even more special. Maybe you get some of those because it's Lamar versus Mahomes or Mahomes versus Allen. Like maybe you could get something special there because you could make the argument last year, the best game all year. The one that comes to mind is that Bills Chiefs game. It wasn't overly close, but it seemed overly dramatic with Josh Allen getting that game clinching 25-yard run.
Oh, yeah.
That was epic.
That was his MVP moment.
Right.
Yeah, it was absolutely his MVP moment.
But to your original point, that felt different because it was Mahomes versus Allen.
Yeah.
So maybe if those other two games are able to have that same drama with those two, maybe it might jump it. But I don't know. I'm looking at this Chiefs schedule, and let's just say they lose two more in the division. Go 3-3 in the division.
Okay.
You said 10 wins. They got Baltimore, Detroit, Washington, Buffalo, Houston on the schedule.
They could win all those games.
They can, and Philadelphia. They're going to win all those like they did last year.
They can win all of those games.
They got one of the best quarterbacks of all time on a top, like a really good defense. That's going to take you a long way. That's more than enough. You got one of the best coaches of all time. Like, they're not scrubs.
Defense got that ass lit up on Friday, though.
Gave up 24 points.
300-yard passing game.
They couldn't stop.
They couldn't stop the Chargers. They couldn't, even if they wanted to.
I'm gonna say it.
Brazil. It doesn't even count.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Justin Herbert credit for that one too.
Yeah, but they're going to be going up against other teams that have that type of offense, to have that type of quarterback.
Doesn't mean it's gonna happen every time, though.
No. And that's also assuming they don't trip up nowhere. That's also assuming they don't have injuries.
I mean, that's fine, but like the Chiefs
have players just like the Niners.
Well, the Chiefs have done enough over the last 3-5 years or whatever, though, where they do get the benefit of the doubt. It is an overreaction to say they're not making. Yeah.
What if the Justin Herbert gets hurt? Like, anyone could suffer an injury week to week.
No, but what I'm saying is you talk about older players. They talk about that, say for the Niners or whatever. You're more susceptible to injury because you've got these older players. Kelsey, Chris Jones, Juju
Kelsey
Smith.
ain't seeing 17.
Juju Smith. They already get down Xavier Woods, which do we know how long he's out or if he's out at all?
Not sure.
Oh, no, I think he's out. I think they said that today. Let me see if I can get the time. I'm certain I saw he was out today. Go ahead. Continue your thought. Oh, no, that's not what I saw. I saw Travis Kelce talking about him. He said it was my fault.
Yeah, you just right into him. Somebody tried to blame Xavier Worthy on that, too. They're like, I think it was James, actually, who's like, yeah, instead of paying attention, he tried to say he was open. Yeah, because he was running the right route and he was open. Why did Travis Kelce run into him?
Don't make me say something not everyone will find as funny as I
do. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, you guys are right. They deserve the benefit of the doubt. But that's my prediction. By the way, Lions and Chiefs don't make the playoffs.
By the way, quick question. We're all good with Travis Kelce doing this podcast.
That's true. That's yeah.
I'm just asking.
I am.
I don't care about players doing their podcast, but we will get these jokes off if you suck during the season.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't care. Like, I don't care if Draymond has a podcast.
Paul
George, I don't care personally. It doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Want to make sure.
I'm keeping the same energy. It doesn't bother me. We need others to do the same.
Okay.
Like, there's gonna get a point if Travis Kelce goes like 1 catch, 7 yards on one game. It's like, dude, stop potting. You need to focus more. Like, I'm gonna make fun of him for that. But
like, bro, just go get married.
Yeah.
Just leave and go get married. How long were they dating? 2 years?
About 2 years, yeah.
I guess I don't know.
2 years. Not your thing. I'm asking two guys who were dating for 18
I'm at 12 right now before my marriage.
I cleared 12 a long time ago.
You 12. You cleared 12 multiple kids ago. Was Ryan in the wedding?
She was.
She was.
My
She
baby.
absolutely
My
was.
baby was riding her little G-Wagon down
She
the
was
aisle.
the star of the show. Yep. Didn't like me then either. Makes me wonder what Kenny says about me at home.
That's true.
Makes Ryan hate me so much. Let's go a couple more here real quick. This is a good one. This is a KC special. The Steelers will win the AFC North.
Overreaction.
Overreaction too.
I'm gonna still take the Ravens and Bengals over them right now.
Just have to ask the question.
Okay, fair enough. I think it's an overreaction. That's Baltimore's division until it's not.
Yeah.
What about the Jaguars winning the AFC South?
Not an overreaction.
All right,
not an overreaction.
Okay.
Not an overreaction. I
All
think
right.
I'm not predicting. I'm still predicting Houston, but I could see Jacksonville winning that division.
Travis
me too.
Etienne had 143 yards, I think. See what Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter can do this season.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, are you a real quarterback or not?
I wanted to watch a lot more of that game Sunday, but it just
so damn
got a
wonky.
little,
I think it just ended.
Are we sure it's over?
No, we're not.
Well, this one up on our screen is about over. We'll come back. We got power rankings. We're getting all our bits off today. We got our power rankings coming up. Plus,
Week 2 starts tomorrow.
It does. So we got to do it today. The pride of the Ohio State University is with us here now.
All right, that was not necessary.
Our dearest brother
really
from
wasn't.
the Sacramento Bee, a very, very good friend from our favorite university, our man Chris Peterman.
That's not our favorite university. Like,
It's
what do you mean
favorite.
we?
We're a team. Our favorite, Chris Peterman. Come on, it's our guy. How many Michigan people join us? None. How many Ohio State people join us? Chris Peterman.
I'm gonna find somebody from Michigan to have on weekly.
Just locked on Wolverines. Just come in and talk. Chris, appreciate your time, man. As always, I figured there'd be some quite a bit to talk about. It turns out there's a lot more than we expected. I know you and Kyle are getting ready to talk about this over at Candlestick Chronicles. Let's start with the Ian Rappaport report that Brock Purdy could be out 2 to 5 weeks. What's that look like for the San Francisco 49ers if that winds up being true?
If it's 2 weeks, he misses the Saints and Cardinals, which feel like winnable games. If it's 3 weeks, you're looking at the home game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If it's 4 weeks and 5 weeks, then you start looking at probably the toughest games the Niners have on their schedule at the Rams on that Thursday night, October 2nd, and then at Tampa Bay. So I would say that's probably the toughest 2-game stretch that the 49ers have this season. So I think, John Lynch went on the radio today and said something like it's going to be week to week. That to me is the biggest thing. If they can get Brock back before that Thursday game against the Rams, obviously a division game, and then against Tampa, those are the 2 ones that you circle. And maybe, George Kittle's going to miss a minimum of 4 games. So he could be back for Tampa October 12th. That's about the time you might be thinking about getting Brandon Ayuk back. So if the 49ers can just kind of tread water and go 2-2 or 3-1, like 3-1, I feel like over the next 4 games, if Brock doesn't play, would be a pretty massive win overall from a big picture perspective. So yeah, I'm looking for them, given the way the schedule plays out. Can they get to 2-2? Or can they go 2-2 over that stretch and then hit those Rams and Bucks games, get their guys back healthy, which they'll need if they can go on the road and win those.
When George Kittle was ruled out, they just said multiple weeks at first. I was thinking you'll probably see him after that mini bye with the Rams. Mm-hmm. We talked about it yesterday, me and Damian did, about he's questionable. He's looking like he might not be able to go, talking about Brock Purdy. I keep looking at that Thursday game as I think they're trying to get through that scenario where they have the quote-unquote mini bye, an extra 3 or 4 days, and that's probably when you bring somebody back. Is that the way you're seeing it for both of those guys, potentially George Kittle and Brock Purdy?
Yeah, I think so. I think at Tampa is probably the toughest game they have on their schedule the whole year, depending on how you feel about Houston. But yeah, I think that's about right. It's going to be 4 weeks for Kittle. It sounded like, he might have been able to push it had that Rams game been a normal week. That might have been around a normal target date, but because it was a short week, they can give him the benefit of that extra time off. So yeah, I think that game against Tampa certainly makes sense. And I'm fascinated to see what this looks like, honestly. Like, for all the talk about Mac Jones and all the hand wringing Kyle and I did about how much of a massive mistake that would be for the 49ers to trade up from 12 to take Mac Jones in 2021. Like, now we'll kind of get a chance to see what it looks like. And I think if you're trying to find a silver lining to it, Mac Jones has started 49 games in the NFL. So this is not a Brandon Allen situation like it was last year when Brock Purdy was hurt. This is somebody who, is conceivably in his athletic prime. Not that Mac Jones is like a prime athlete or anything like that, but this is a guy who's played a lot of football, who's started a bunch of games, who's played with Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne was in New England when Mac Jones was a rookie, and they played 3 years together. But that rookie season for Mac Jones was Kendrick Bourne's best season. So that'll be something to keep an eye on while Juwan Jennings' status is up in the air. So yeah, I mean, we'll get to see Kyle Shanahan's dream of, how it plays out with Mac Jones, because I think everybody kind of has the idea that that's initially what he wanted, and he was dissuaded from that towards Trey Lance in 2021. But yeah, man, it'll be very interesting. The good thing, the other good thing too, is that this is so early in the season, and that with the 17 game schedule and at the schedule being as easy as it is for the 49ers, I think it could have happened at a much worse time of the season, put it that way.
Mac Jones, like you pointed this out, he's played football now. This isn't like, trading up to, to draft him when they wound up taking Trey Lance. But I'm of the belief that, like, it might not be so bad. And part of it is the schedule. The other part of it is I do have a great respect for Kyle Shanahan, the play caller. And I think he has a way of managing the offense that could be beneficial for Mac Jones. It's not a situation where you're replacing Josh Allen and you've got to find a way to go throw for 400, 500 yards a game, or, you're Patrick Mahomes and you're the central focus of everything that happens on the offensive end for the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, it's a little bit different of a situation. And I don't mean that to demean Brock Purdy in any sort of way, but you have built this team to function on many different levels, with Kyle being the master manipulator of all of that. And obviously I would much rather have Brock Purdy out there for the 49ers to be successful, but I don't think it's the end of the world that Mac Jones might have to be under center for a couple of weeks.
Well, and I think you saw it Sunday in Seattle too, that really, like, the most indispensable guy on the 49ers offense was Christian McCaffrey. And somehow we're going into this week with the script completely flipped, that we're feeling the best about Christian McCaffrey's health when you look at the 49ers skill positions. And given the way he was used in the receiving game, there was that fourth down where he's motioned out wide to the left. Seahawks only have 2 defenders over there. He runs a simple out route, and you're able to convert an easy 4th and 2. Like, can Kyle Shanahan continue to figure out ways to get Christian McCaffrey the ball in space? Because that's ultimately going to be Mac Jones' best friend, because he doesn't have, the security blanket at tight end in George Kittle. And Ricky Pearsall is still relatively new. But can't you still have Christian McCaffrey? So I think from that standpoint, you should be able to run the ball okay against the Saints. You should be able to figure out ways to get him the ball in space on those short passes to get Mac Jones comfortable and potentially in rhythm. And that, to me, is sort of the saving grace with all this, is like, all right, well, you can still count on Christian McCaffrey getting 25 touches. And that's generally been a very good thing for the Niners.
Yeah, Chris, and I look at it the same way D'Lo does here, where you've got a guy like Kyle Shanahan, and he's dealt with, I don't want to say this is exactly who Mac Jones is, but he's dealt with subpar quarterbacks before. He had Nick Mullins under center and was able to have a functioning offense with him in there. He's had C.J. Beathard under center and had a functioning offense in games while he was there. you wouldn't want those guys there for a whole season, and you wouldn't want Mac Jones there for a whole season. But in a 1, 2, 3 game stretch, I think you can get away with being able to win games with Mac Jones under center. And I'm also saying Mac Jones is probably better than those two guys that he's had under center. So I think Kyle Shanahan, that's his strength. That's why you feel comfortable in these situations, because you have a guy like that almost, no matter who's under center, he's going to be able to get guys open. They just got to deliver the football and not turn the ball over.
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the defense yet, right? Like the defense coming into the season was probably a bit, aside from the injuries, was a far bigger question mark than the offense. And then you come out of week 1 in Seattle feeling pretty good about how the defense played, particularly a lot of the young players. Marquise Siegel, the safety, played really well. D. Winters certainly took a step and looked like one of the best players on the field. The defensive line did a good job at creating lanes for the linebackers to fill in the running game. So could there be more from the pass rush outside of Nick Bosa? Absolutely. But I think the defense too can give the 49ers a chance. Like there's a real possibility that going against Spencer Rattler, that the 49ers can score 17 points again and win that game. Right. So it might not be that they need Mac Jones to throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. They might just need him to not turn the ball over. Special teams is obviously going to have to be better. But it's given the way the Saints are constructed and where they're at and their quarterback situation, the Niners don't need to go in there and light it up offensively. And if the defense continues to play well, that could help Mac Jones out as much as anything on offense.
What's the key to the defense playing well? Because they've got obviously an influx of young guys over there. That's kind of the part of the ball. It's kind of the part of the field that's in the most transition, is that defensive side. But you still have Nick Bosa over there, who had a huge play on Sunday. And of course, Fred Warner, the guy who holds everything together for us.
I think it's Robert Saleh's return. I think the combination, just so one thing that Robert Saleh always did when, during his first tenure with the 49ers, they would watch film cut-ups as a team and track loafs, right? That they would call them loafs. And they would basically, like, who isn't sprinting as hard as they can to the football or do their responsibility on any given play. And these guys would get basically like demerits in front of the whole team. And if you got some of those, like, those would be embarrassing, obviously. And I think with Nick Sorensen and Steve Wilkes, I mean, frankly, it just seemed like the defense didn't play quite as hard, right? Like there was an element of, I think there was a little bit of a lack of trust between the players and the coaching staff from the standpoint of, like, when you have really smart players like Fred Warner and Nick Bosa who don't love the play call, there isn't going to be that same level of buy-in. I think there's just a different level of buy-in when Robert Saleh is there, on top of Robert Saleh dialing up a really sound scheme, not creating, insane mismatches that we saw with Steve Wilkes and Nick Sorensen at times. The blitzes all seem really well timed. And I think it's allowing the young guys to play fast and play with a level of confidence because of how good Robert Saleh is at defensive coordinator. So to me, that's the whole key. Like, it was going to be like, coming into the season, it was going to be, all right, the Niners are going to be good on defense because they have a whole bunch of talented dudes. They do have some talent on the defensive side, but they're going to be a good defense because they're greater than the sum of their parts because of how well coached they are on that side. So when you look at, with very few exceptions on Sunday, when you look at that game against Seattle, it wasn't like there were coverage busts all over the field. It wasn't like there was a terrible blitz call that the Seahawks were able to take advantage of. It was a very sound defense, and I thought everyone was flying around and playing really fast. And I think all that's a credit to Robert Saleh coming back.
Yeah, one of the things that we've talked about is, I think you talk about the 49ers schedule, and a lot of people look at it like it's easy, all this other stuff. And I just don't feel like you can do that without seeing games first.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I would look at is I look at the quarterbacks. Like, is this a quarterback against a 49ers defense that we think is going to be improved, that they should be able to handle? And I see quite a few of those. And this Sunday is one of them. Spencer Rattler, I know they're in the Superdome. I know they're on the road. I know it's the NFL. You got to respect these guys for what they can bring to the table, and anybody can win any given Sunday. But Robert Saleh, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, those guys should be able to, at the very least, keep it a low-scoring game to give the offense an opportunity to come out of there with a win, even with the injuries that are going on. I think that defense looked phenomenal on Sunday, and I could see the same type of performance on Sunday against the Saints.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Kyle and I did the exercise before Sunday's game, doing kind of a big picture season preview and just kind of going through the opposing quarterbacks like you're talking about. And I predicted the 49ers would go 11-6, in large part because, like you mentioned, it's not necessarily the ease of the schedule, but it's just the quarterbacks you go against. Like, aside from the 2 games against the Rams, I kind of think Brock and Baker, they're a toss-up. And maybe, if you want to say CJ Stroud's better than Brock, I wouldn't argue against that. But I think Brock's better than Kyler, and then basically all of the other quarterbacks the Niners have on their schedule. And just from that standpoint, if you're a well-coached defense and if the offense can, stay afloat with all these injuries, then you're going to be a really competitive team. So I just, I think the 49ers from the scheduling standpoint, it is about the quarterbacks. It's not, they don't have Jordan Love. They don't have, last year they had Jordan Love and Josh Allen, and year before they had Lamar. Like, they don't, and last year they had Mahomes again, right? Like, and Herbert. Like, they don't have any of these guys on the schedule this year. It's all a bunch of middling to lower tier quarterbacks. So with Robert Saleh back, if they can, accelerate the development of this defense with all these young guys, the Niners can be in a really good spot, and Sunday could be an example of that. And, we're going to talk, there's going to be a ton of discussion about Mac Jones coming out of the game, but really, to me, if the Niners can hold the Saints to, 14 points or fewer, I think they should have a really good chance to win that game.
So we talked about Mac Jones potentially being under center. George Kittle is out. We really don't know the status of Juwan Jennings for Sunday yet. We went into the game. We went into the weekend wondering if Christian McCaffrey was going to play. We saw Trent Williams get banged up at one point. Fred Warner get banged up at one point. We talk about the schedule and the quarterbacks and all these different things. At what point, though, have we hit I don't know that the 49ers can survive all of this.
That's a great question. I would say, with the exception of Brandon Ayuk, it doesn't seem like any of these injuries are long-term, right? Like, if guys are tearing ACLs and, knock on wood, and any other serious injuries like that, and they're done for the season, at that point you start to be like, oh, okay, this is really, really bad. It's obviously not good. And, you never want injuries. You'd love to have all your guys play 17 games, but none of these really seem like long-term from the standpoint of, like, okay, they're going to shut him down for the season. So, you're not at that point yet. I know that's like a very, I probably overly optimistic view of it, but that's just kind of how they have to look at it, is like, all right, well, we're treading water. We have a Saints team that, even without Brock Purdy, they should probably beat. It's going to be a really tough game because it's just really tough to win on the road in the NFL with a backup quarterback in general, but they should win that game. And then you have a team in Arizona that you're very familiar with that's still, relatively young and has a lot of moving parts on defense. So that, that's a game that the 49ers can win. And then you have Jacksonville coming in. We'll see how the Jaguars are. But the point being, like, they can survive this as long as it doesn't turn into this guy's out for the season, that guy's out for the season. If they know these guys are coming back, then at least they can look at the fact that they have a 17-game schedule, which gives you another week, another opportunity to win a game and get to the playoffs, as opposed to a 16-game schedule.
Hey, Chris, what'd you think about my boy Slick Ricky Pearsall, man? He looked good out there. Is that something that you think he can put together every game, that type of game, maybe 1,000-yard season? You think he has that type of capability?
When they drafted him, and I did the deep dive on him as a prospect, I thought, like, oh, this is definitely a Kyle Shanahan type receiver. Like, he had really good hands at Florida. Like, he never dropped anything. He took some hellacious hits over the middle of the field and held onto the football. He's a good route runner, like the athletic score stuff. Like, I thought, okay, this Kyle Shanahan drafting a receiver in the first round, like, this could be a Pro Bowl caliber type guy. Nothing that happened his rookie season dissuaded me from that. Obviously, it's some serious road bumps in his development. getting shot before your first game doesn't really help.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
But the skill set was there, and when he returned to playing, you kind of saw some of that, and it was pretty impressive for a rookie receiver. So hearing about him and Brock Purdy spending a ton of time working out together in the offseason, and then going down to training camp, I watched him in the practice. He came back from his injury, and he made a the most of his reps, I thought, in that practice that I went to. I was like, okay, this could be a guy. Like, I'm not going to anoint him and say like, oh, this is a 1,200-yard receiver, but like, it's certainly there for him if he stays healthy and continues to get better, because the skill set and the mindset, I think, is absolutely there. So no, I wasn't really surprised by that on Sunday, but they're going to need that. Like, if it's going to be a revolving door with all the other injuries at receiver, like, they need Ricky Pearsall to be healthy and be a steadying force, because if not, then things get extremely, even more complicated, and it's already a very complicated situation.
Do you think, Kyle, I don't know if he was speaking at a turn or just speaking ultra optimistic. Do you think we see Brandon Ayuk in week 6 or 7?
I have no idea, honestly. It wouldn't surprise me. Like, I don't know. Did you guys see the video of him running routes before the Raiders preseason game on the field?
I think I saw that. I saw him he was at training camp running routes as well. Maybe around that time too. So I was nervous. He's like, stop. Just stop.
Yeah, he looks pretty good. I honestly don't know what I would assume it's going to be at some point in October or November, but I would just be completely speculating at this point. So I don't know, but it sounds like they're optimistic.
That's what I think Kyle does. Like, hey, when do you think Ayuk's going to be back? I don't know, week 6. I don't know. And all of a sudden, Kyle Shanahan says Brandon Ayuk back in week 6, and it's like, oh, really? When he first said it, I was like, oh, really? Wow.
I don't know how closely you guys watch the press conferences, but my guy Eric Branch from the San Francisco Chronicle is constantly asking Kyle Shanahan these injury questions, and it feels like each time Shanahan's temperature rises a little bit in his head, because he Shanahan ideally would be like, I don't know, some October, whatever. It's like that, like you said, like, that's how he would like to answer the question. But Branch is always coming back with like, well, you said October and it's like November now. Like, what's the deal? Why are you, those types of questions? And Shanahan is just so fed up with it. And he likes Eric personally. It's not like a personal thing. It's just part of the job. But my guy, Eric, if you watch the press conferences, Eric is always needling Shanahan on injury time frames, and Shanahan continuously gets more and more irritated with it. It's kind of entertaining.
I love that.
I have a prediction.
Oh,
as broadcast journalists, we're not investigative journalists,
of course.
but broadcast journalists. Of course. We look at the story. We look at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Week 7, Atlanta, Sunday Night Football at Levi Stadium. Brandon Ayuk comes out of the tunnel, makes his return.
The question is, does George Kittle and Brock Purdy follow him at the same time?
Hopefully, they're both playing the week before against Tampa Bay.
Okay.
What's crazy about that? What's crazy about that stretch is that's 4 road games in 5 weeks. So that'll be a pretty telling stretch of the season. I don't know how good Houston's going to be, but that might end up being a really difficult game. But then after that, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but Rams, Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, Titans, Colts, Bears, Seahawks, like, there's a real opportunity that if the Niners can get their guys back, they could go on a run at the second half of the season. And it might be that, 10 games is all they need to get into the playoffs. So, as bad as the injury stuff looks now, if they can just get their guys healthy, there's a real opportunity for them to go on a run in November and December.
Chris, great stuff as always. We're tapping into Candlestick Chronicles, man. We appreciate you, my friend.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
With us here. Kent, I'm glad you hanging out a little bit, man. There's a lot to talk about. Let's start with this. I should have said this during the commercial break because when Kim popped up, he was like, "Yeah, I wish I was there so I could ask you about your little honey, your little girl." And I don't know if you did this. I feel like you did when Katie and I started dating. I gave her the autobiography of Malcolm X and said, I want you to read this.
Yeah.
And she did. Didn't you do that with your wife?
Yes, I did. Absolutely. Heather read it twice. She's fantastic. She's already a journalism major, and she's kind of already into that thing. So yeah, that was kind of a requirement to understand a little bit about my mentality, if that makes sense, my perspective, how I see certain things, and then hopefully be able to relate to it. And her job was to soften it. So that's why I have the partner that I have, because you're supposed to be able to work in a way like that. And so she softens it, but she totally gets where I'm coming from with a lot of stuff. You did the same. You made her. Did she finish it?
Did the exact same thing. Yeah. In every free minute she has that book in her hand. And not just that, I've gone and picked up Amazon package where I'm like, this is clearly a book. What is this? And I open it, and it's a book that she ordered about, whitewashing history and like all of it. Like she is all in on it now. She takes notes. She asks me questions. Yeah, the whole deal.
I wish people would I hope people understand what I'm talking about in terms of why that story is important to me. That man, his whole journey is the reason why I think it's really important for everyone to understand it. People will focus in on certain situations with the Nation of Islam, and they'll use the quotes to support whatever little argument they're trying to make. But I'm talking about that complete journey of that man went the whole way you were supposed to go as a human being. And that's what I aspire to. Like, if you were wrong, figure it out, fix yourself, go in a different direction. Now spread that to the world. And I just thought that's what you're supposed to do as a human being.
It's funny how so many people ignore the last part of his story.
Oh yeah, right.
That's the very last part. They don't want to talk about that part.
That's the most important part. It's like, come on, man. That's what we're all about. That journey as a human being. It just embodies it for me. So I think that's hilarious that you did that.
And for those who are watching and caught the commercial break, Ken's son, who's 6'1" now, Malcolm, is named after Malcolm X.
Yes. Yeah. His name was picked out before he was even like anybody even saw him. That was one of the I wanted to reflect that, and his middle name had to reflect my family. Like, my last name Rudolph is not my name. My father adopted me, and that's my last name. But my blood last name is Logan, and my family is in Texas. And so I wanted my son's name to be Malcolm Logan Rudolph, so that, he reflects everything about my family and my heritage, and so that he will know that, yes, that last name is a wonderful man who adopted me and changed my whole life and gave me this whole set of values. But your middle name, your grandmother, your grandfather, your great-grandfather, your great-grandmother, all those people in Texas, that's your family. So I wanted it to be that whole connection.
And that sounds like a picture. Malcolm Logan Rudolph. That's a Major League Baseball picture right
I'll
there.
Take that. Let me get an autograph.
I'm not even that dad where I think he's going to go. I'm not even that person. Like, I don't think he's going to be a professional baseball player.
Hey, look, does he need Uncle Kenny? I'll negotiate the deals, Uncle Kenny.
I have good news for you.
You got me, Casey?
I've got great news for you. You got Uncle Kenny and Agent D-Lo. You're in great shape. I know how much you hate agents. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. I need
ownership.
I don't hate agents. It was just that whole moment in time where I was like, these people are trying to take over this system where you got to earn your way and you have to do certain things. I was wrong to be that upset about it, because it was great that those individuals started to move in the way that they did. What is it? Carter Maverick, and I forgot the other guy's name.
Maverick Carter. Yeah.
Maverick Carter. Thank you, Ben. They started moving in that direction. I'm thinking it's fantastic now. But at that time, I was threatened. It's like, oh my goodness, these new people are coming in and messing up this whole thing. So no, it's all good though. It's fine.
What you got going on at Rancho Cordova, man? Like, I know you host, but they're gonna show you some love, and rightfully so this time around, huh?
Oh man, I don't know why they decided to do it. I think it's maybe based on my history as a Pee Wee football player. It's pretty legendary in Pop Warner. But after that, I was useless.
Your Lancers?
No, I'd say, man, it's a really great night that we get to share. It's 10 years now of the Rancho Cordova Sports Hall of Fame. And if you look at Sacramento, you have all these really incredible pockets of talent all throughout the area. But Rancho Cordova was really, really special. And being able to accomplish the things that they did, being the #1 team in the nation in 1975, having the absolute best record for the 70s of any high school in the country. They only lost 6 games in 10 years. Like, that's incredible for a super small little town where they were just supported by the Air Force base around, and they just had people coming from everywhere. It was a really unique time in the history of Rancho Cordova. And so the great people in that city, they were so smart 10 years ago. They're like, hey, we want to honor that and remember that. and it just touched me so much because everywhere I went, I remember going to the military in the late 80s. And I remember getting into an argument with these two guys. I still remember it to this day. One guy was from Moeller, Ohio, which is Cincinnati area. Moeller High School was like the top rated high school in the country in the 70s and 80s. And the other guy was from Valdosta, Georgia. Still remember that dude. Just remember his face right now. So mad. And they had the #1 high school in the country too. And Cordova was #1 in 1975, but then those two teams kind of took over. And I remember just be like, no, man, we would have beat you guys if we played you. And just having something like that to represent, knowing that I came from a place where they took that seriously. They competed like nobody else. They trained like nobody else. And they brought some of the most incredible, prolific talent that this area has ever seen. And I'm just happy to be able to share it because it drove me, like being able to play football for Cordova Lancers. Like, I still carry that like a badge of honor. I'm like, yeah, man, I made that team, bro.
Yeah.
I made 1 interception.
And he will tell you that story as many times as you like him to.
All day. But, it's just a really great night to honor. And they're doing something special by honoring the founders. And I'm one of the founders, helped to start this thing 10 years ago and kind of carry it along and foster it and nurture it. And so I'm happy to be a part of it.
And like you talked about, man, we talk a lot on here when Grant is brought up, and we talk about DPH and the Heights and the pride that those people in that community have for that high school. It's the same out there in Cordova with Rancho, in that high school and the lineage that they have. They're very proud of the lineage of that high school, the sports and everything that's come through that high school. So that's always dope to see. Man.
No, man, and the thing about those two teams, oh my goodness, man, some of the battles that they would have, not only people will think automatically, well, football. No. Ooh. Grant used to have an incredible baseball program. They had some incredible baseball players that came through there. Grant does everything, right? Like, that's an incredible program. Like, I remember looking up to see if I could find Hall of Fames for all the other high schools or all the other areas, right? And some of them end up getting kind of folded into the Sacramento Sports Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. But I hope that every single school has a chance to show this kind of spirit and really kind of forward this legacy on to the next generation, because it's really great to know that you come from a place where people know how to work hard, they know how to compete, and they've won. And it's something that, and to be the best in the country, like, I just think that's incredible. Like, wow, that's so much fun.
Hey, sorry to derail this.
What's up?
I got a what do you give me for?
Okay.
Pardon me?
So there's this. So I don't know who originated this, but what do you?
Stolen bit, but it's ours
It's
now.
a stolen bit. What do you give me for? You rank it's a number of how close someone looks to someone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Johnny House can get in this one too.
Okay.
When it's particularly when he smiles.
Okay.
What do you give me for Chris Webber?
Oh yeah, I'll give you a 9.
Yeah,
I'll give you a 9.
Yeah.
I just got a text about that. I absolutely just got it. I'll give you a 9.
Yeah,
I'll give you a 9.
I was like,
yeah,
a long time ago when I had hair and C Webb was here and he had a little poof up, and I had a little goatee that went down like this, and I was younger, obviously. I actually used to get that a few times, and I loved it. I was like, yeah. Shoot, where Tyra at? Talking about? Yeah, I'll be C Webb, man. I love C Webb. C Webb's one of my favorite players because he was so honest. Remember one of the first things he said when he got to Sacramento? Because look, man, I love Sacramento, but I was like, what do the players think about Sacramento? And he was like, man, where am I supposed to go for dinner?
Yeah,
I just scored 25 points. I just pulled down 15 rebounds. I just dished out 10 assists. Where am I going to go to celebrate? And I was like, did no one ever put it that way? I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, I got to go drive 90 minutes to go get my vibe on. I got to go to the Bay. I was like, yeah, he's right. But because he stayed and the Maloof family went crazy, I think that made Sacramento a destination after they got there. But
how long were you in Sacramento?
Pardon me?
How long were you in Sacramento?
I was born and raised there.
Yeah, but you no. But you didn't you leave? Didn't you leave for LA and then come back, or did you
Yes. So I left in 97. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
97 is when I first came down to Orange County, and
you were because you were watching the reason that sticks in my you were watching the playoffs down there, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was.
Yeah.
Well, that's what made it so
Yeah.
fun because I was here working. I was doing this the Best Damn Sports Show period for Fox, and the Maloof brothers came on the show, and that's how I met them. And they were like, "Hey, we heard that you're the Sacramento Kings fan." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" And they're like, "We want to invite you to." It was Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals versus the Lakers at Arco. They're like, "You want to come back home and go to the game?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." So they flew me back home, and we got to go to the game. And I still remember being back at the apartment we had in LA for Game 7 and just being like, so I was in the belly of the beast, and I was just like, man, I remember, and I love my mother-in-law. She's the best thing in the world. She's so wonderful. But I remember my mother-in-law called me on the phone, and she's such a wonderful, happy person. She's always sunshine. I love Annette, but she called me on the phone, and I'm like, hello. Oh, yeah. She's always so happy, like, your mom's on the phone. Like, I didn't hear none of that. Like, why are you talking to me right now? It's not a happy moment.
That was not the time.
And then I came back in 2011. Yeah. And then I was there for 8 years doing the news, and then I'm back. I'm thinking about coming back, though.
Jay Will's your second, right? Is Chris first, and then is it Jason Williams?
Well, Mitch is the first.
Mitch.
is
Oh,
mine.
okay.
Rock.
Okay.
Rock, baby. Like my whole resume tape, how I got my jobs was because The Rock would wait and let me interview him after practice and games. Man, that dude was incredible. He was awesome. So like half my stuff was me doing packages with him and playing video games in the hotel room and stupid stuff like that.
You still have that news anchor voice.
It's
Like,
natural.
It's
natural.
You just naturally a news. How many? You've been in 1 billion movies. Have you played anything other than a news anchor?
Wait a minute. 3 times I played a cop. I played a FBI agent. I played a CSI, like whatever. It was a CSI agent, I guess it was. A technician or whatever it was. And then I was it was something in law enforcement. But yeah, it's been basically reporter and a cop.
How long you been doing that? How long you been like acting in the movies and stuff like that?
I haven't been acting at all. I've been in the movies though, because I'm not an actor. I've been in the movies. I got lucky. What is it? When I moved down there, that's why your agent, like my agent, found me in Sacramento and moved me down to LA. And as soon as I touched ground, I think 1998, I started doing like TV and stuff like that. And I would never talk about it. Like I would never tell anybody, hey man, look for me coming up. Because I made that mistake the first time. The first thing I ever did was an episode of a show called The Practice on TV. And so I had to be there all day, right? And I shot some scene in the courtroom. And then they're like, hey, we want you to come back and do more scenes this afternoon. So I came back later in the evening, did more scenes. And then I'm like, oh, I'm all over this show. And so I called my mom. I'm like, mother, I want to be on The Practice coming up. Oh, okay, baby. And so I go and I'm with my friends and the episode comes on. And it's like any other reporter scene. And I'm like, that was it? I shot for like 12 hours. That was it. So from that point on, I never said anything about anything that I was in. I was like, no, I'm not going to say anything. I just got lucky. And I think just being down here, it's kind of part of the thing. You're in the machine. You do that. And I got lucky and did like 30 of them. So it was cool.
That's
what's up.
That's dope. Ken's such a consummate. We've had discussions this week about like journalists and broadcast journalism, and I like investigative journalism, and I know how much like being a journalist matters to you. And I remember I assume it was 16 when we were doing the lowdown.
Yeah,
we were having conversations about Donald Trump. And I remember, like, I can't call him President Trump. I can't call him Mr. President. I can't call him any of that. Like, he's Donald. Like, he's that guy. Like, he's him. And I remember Ken going, no, like, he's the president. Like, he's President Trump. Like, that's how you refer to him. And he was constantly in that, like, I am a news anchor and I deliver news. And that's how I do it. And I keep my opinion. I actually learned a lot about that form of journalism from you, because that was such like an offensive time that we went through, right? And me, the cap stuff, like everything that was happening at that time,
Yeah.
And I learned like so much about how to be that type of journalist from you during that time.
Oh, I thank you. I appreciate that. I was kind of held to that standard. You know, I came back to Sacramento because I think that Good Day Sacramento is the best morning show in the country, and I wanted to be a part of that again. But I also wanted to strengthen my journalism instincts with CBS News. And so being in that building and being able to do that, and them saying to me, hey, we want you to anchor the news in the morning by yourself. And so I was like, well, this is what I went to school for. I guess I should probably start utilizing some of those instincts and some of those tools. And part of that is respect, believe it or not. Even if I have somewhat of an aggressive approach to things, that I don't disrespect, unless one time I got mad at somebody. That's not what we're talking about. Disrespect, the office and what that means. And even if that individual is saying something that you don't necessarily agree with, or it's offensive to you, or it's hurtful, it's still the office that I have to respect.
You said that 10 years ago. Like you kept saying, it's not him.
Right.
It's the office.
I have to respect that, especially if you're doing that job.
Right.
You really have to respect that. And, I have to admit, I was a little disillusioned because the media at that time, they were going in a different direction. And I don't know if the media has recovered in terms of how we cover these situations. It doesn't seem like we're making much progress in terms of each individual understanding and comprehending what these things mean and what they're going to mean as we continue to move along. And now we're in a situation where we are now, where it's so painful every day. Every day is painful for all of us. And I mean, the one thing that we're supposed to have that makes us all come together, sports, they're starting to tear that apart too. So we got to find ways to continue to get back into just having so much fun being a fan. Like, I just love sports so much because it helps me just not think about that other stuff that's happening every day that's really tearing us apart from the inside out. And there's nothing that I guess we can do about it. But I feel like, back to what you're saying about being a journalist and sticking to the rules. And I think it just makes it a little bit easier for you to process those things, especially in that position when you got to go over that stuff every day.
The saddest thing about what you just said is you said the media is going in a different direction, and you were 100% right. And the media hasn't recovered. The media doesn't have, the media's direction should be straight. Like this, there should be no veering off when it comes to this form of media that you and I, that the three of us are talking about. It's like, there is no direction to pick. Deliver it this way. Deliver it exactly the way that Ken is talking about right now. But as we're all very aware, that's not how this works.
No, but it isn't just, it isn't just how we report on the news now. If you think about it, there's a gentleman that used to write for Sports Illustrated. His last name was Perlman. Jeff Perlman, I think is his name. Yeah. He wrote the book. They did that Showtime series on the Lakers. And he's just done a bunch. He did the stuff on the Cowboys. Like, he's got a great YouTube channel where he tells stories. Pardon me. But he mentioned something, and he's an older, white Jewish man. He's been covering sports, and he talked about how, and I thought about this, and there's also a story on Derek Jeter. You can watch that player series or captain series. Talk about how the media portrayed black athletes. Now, we're supposed to be journalists, and things are supposed to be honorable. But think about how that bias impacted so many black athletes being covered by the media, the 50s, 60s, 70s. Guys who may have been just different. Like, I really get upset when fans talk to me about Albert Bell. Oh my God, he was such a mean guy. He was such a jerk. Like, man, maybe that guy had something he was trying to say. Maybe he had an issue. And so the writers paint him as this. And I think about it in baseball, especially because the majority of the writers, they were white and they didn't know how to cover the black players. And there were so many black players. If you go watch that special on Derek Jeter called The Captain, they talk about the black tax that the players had to pay. That if you said anything at all about how you were feeling about what was happening in the country, or even your own experience, there was a price to pay. And I think about that, like, it's always been there, which is why, if you think about it, that's why Howard Cosell gets so much credit, because of the way that he respected Muhammad Ali and the name change, because everyone else wasn't doing that. If you think about it. And it was accepted. All the other reporters like, no, we're going to call you Cassius Clay. It's like, no, man, that's not my name. What are you talking about? I'm respecting you. Respect me. This is my name change. No, we're not going to do that. What gives you the right to do that? So the whole time, it's always been that perspective that has colored and painted everything, for lack of a better term. And now it's really coming out in the media, and it's, I don't know. Like, it's something we talked about a lot on the radio. I remember saying, and I'm like, how do we walk around like this every day? We all have to prove to each other that we're not this, we're not that. Right. I got to prove to you that I'm not a threat to you. You have to prove to me that you're not racist. I got to prove to you that I'm not a misogynist. You got to prove to me that you're like, everything was like, we just can't just be ourselves and like accept each other every day and just deal with whatever it is that you're bringing. I don't know.
One of the things that, like, right now that kind of comes up for me, they talk about Kawhi Leonard and people talk about Uncle Dennis, right? And they're so quick to say they need to leave Uncle Dennis alone. Like, he's a problem, all this other stuff. Kawhi needs to realize he's a problem and separate himself from him. And that may be true. All that may be true. But we don't know what Uncle Dennis means to Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard could look at Uncle Dennis as, this is a guy when I was struggling. I don't know his mom and dad situation or anything, but clearly it's somebody that he trusts on another level that maybe people don't look at or realize. And for everybody to be like, just leave him alone. Like, Kawhi may be like, I owe my life to this guy. And he may not be perfect or whatever, but that might be the one person in this world since I've been a little boy,
right,
that I can trust to have to look out for me. And I just think so many times, like in sports media and everything, we said this the other day, we look at these players as characters and not people. Mm-hmm. I remember when the Ball family had everything go, you need to tell, they need to grow up and tell their dad to stat. Are you kidding me? Tell their dad? No, like, Malcolm gonna tell you something, when he's trying. No, we can talk.
You see the look on Ken's face. I don't care if he's 6'1" or not. He ain't gonna tell me nothing.
You can talk to me like a grown man that you are now or whatever. But number one, I'm always be your father.
Right.
And
right.
There's a certain place that I'm gonna have in your life because I'm your father. I can fall back to all this other stuff. But it's a long-winded way of saying I feel like they just, and you see it a lot with these black athletes, they just look at them as athletes and characters and not people, and understanding or trying to understand where they come from.
Like, I remember we would talk about Ball all the time because we loved never lost, right? We was
never lost.
Me, him, and Jason never lost. But I also would say, hey, I don't have a problem with that man. That man is out there repping for his kids. He knows his kids, and however he chooses to express that. And yeah, he was kind of putting himself ahead of them a few times. That didn't bother me. And I thought, I thought like that. I was like, man, and he proved to be right, by the way. Mm-hmm. Everything he said, I mean, of course, a little bit of hyperbole saying that he was going to be better than Kobe, but he was still right. And all the other stuff, like, he didn't need a reality show and all that nonsense. I don't know why that stuff happened, but just the whole concept of him as a parent, I thought I was totally fine with that. But then again, I'm kind of from that generation where, like I said, my dad adopted me and changed everything about my personality. I still have no idea if I'm supposed to be like this, or is it because he was like a major influence in my life? Every single day I'm trying to figure out, am I supposed to be this competitive and this intense and like this? Everything really makes me, I'm like excited and happy about all kinds of stuff. Am I supposed to be like this? But I know that because of that, man, I found my lane. And I was like, oh, I know how to direct all this craziness now. I found sports and music. I can direct all this craziness in one area and find some joy in my life. So parents it's one of those things where if you watch social media, they act like dads aren't around. Like, everywhere I go, it's all dads. I'm like, what are they talking about?
Bro, the real, because I know we're pushing, but
sorry.
A couple, I think when the Celtics won the championship, they were like, Jason Tatum's dad was around. Yeah, he was around his entire life. Like, him and his mom weren't together, but Tatum's dad, but you would never.
What about
know.
Deuce's mom? Do we know anything about Deuce's mom at all?
No,
I've never seen that woman.
Yeah. But the way they covered Jason Tatum up until that point, you would think his dad was never around.
Right.
And his dad, it was the exact opposite. His dad was, and Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah, I don't know why they continue to run with that narrative. That's one of those things about media where I'm like, you don't necessarily have to do that. I know moms are important, absolutely, but there are a whole lot of dads out there. Why are we always what's with the moms and the Campbell soup all the time? I guess I get it. I guess I get that part of it.
I guess dads don't serve soup.
Oh,
Yeah, I never made my son soup before. Yeah, I mean, I make him soup all the time. What,
you know the joke. I forgot who said it, but the joke of they have the kid who becomes a professional athlete, and the dad, gets up with them, works out with them, trains with them, takes them all these practices, and just puts all these blood, sweat, and tears in them for hours and hours and hours, and they make it to the top. They get drafted, and they say, "I want to thank my mom." I just want to thank my mom.
That's a part about actually old Bill Cosby built. Bill Cosby talks about how he makes the touchdown and he gets to the sideline, he sits down, the camera comes over, and the dads are thinking about all the hours they put in the morning and and his back, and he looks at the camera. Hi, Mom. Dad's like, really? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man, always so much fun to talk to my guy. That's why he's the perfect host for the Rancho Cordova Sports Hall of Fame. Talk about dads, man. What a family Jerry Manuel got. Jerry Manuel is a part of the Rancho Cordova Hall of Fame. He a lot like Dusty Baker. He can't stay away from baseball.
He's a lifer.
Yeah, he's gonna find a way to be involved.
He and Malcolm were on the same travel ball team 2 years ago. So that's when I met Jerry and one of his sons, excuse me, because he was coaching as well. So we got to coach and play with the kids, and so it was great to reconnect. When I saw the dad, he's like, "Hey," I was like, "Yeah, good to see you." It was so fantastic to be able to reconnect with him. He's an absolute legend, and I love that he continued to extend that and teach and trying to get the new generation to understand the right way to play baseball. So it's stuff like that. We have really great resources within the community to continue to feed the future generations and teach them how to compete.
Yes.
There you go. And there's the competitiveness that comes from our man right there. This is going on tomorrow, right?
I'll fly in tomorrow. And it's tomorrow evening. We have like the thing about Rancho Cordova, bless their hearts, they're so ambitious. So they turn into a whole week of celebration. So they're going to have all kinds of things. There's something tonight. There's a mixer, and they'll have a big meeting. And then tomorrow we'll have a little cocktail hour beforehand, and then we get into it at 7:00. And we have our inductees again. Then we'll celebrate 10 years of great athletes and coaches and administrators and teachers and parents. And just it's a great night for the community. 7:00.
You can go to CordovaCouncil.org you could buy tickets to this. You can go hang out with Ken and the rest of the
I have to say, it sells out every year. And so I'm not quite sure what the ticket situation is.
I'm gonna press the button and see what happens.
Okay.
Oh, okay. No, you can still get tickets.
Better hurry up.
Yeah, yeah, they might run out after this conversation. So, because I know you got another little interview coming up later. I'm gonna tell you, one is not gonna be as fun. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot more boring. So we thought you'd get it. We thought we'd get you in here with the big boys before you went on to do the rest of your little media obligations.
Before you go play JV real quick. Yeah, I mean,
oh man,
real quick.
Hey, of course, you guys. I really, I appreciate your support you since day one. I absolutely love what you have done. I respect it, and I just hope to see you continue to grow and do what you do. It's like one of those situations where I don't know if I was still there doing, news and stuff for CBS, if I'd be able to be on a show with you guys and do what you do, right? The corporate constraints, they kind of stop you. Damian knows, they stop me from doing everything. Like, why you give me the job if I can't do nothing? And so I don't know, we'd be able to do this together, but I love the fact that you guys have created this and I can kind of step in every once in a while and say hi and bask in the afterglow of your sunshine.
I mean, anytime you want.
I was about to say you got work to do this weekend, man. But when you just gonna come back and just hang out, man, come to the studio, go to a game, whatever, man. When you gonna come out and do that?
Well, I'm coming home for a week and I'm working on something. I'm trying to do something with Sac State. So I'm in talks with them right now. I'm gonna try and hook some things up. Hope I don't ruin the chances, but I want to come back and I want to work for the school.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
Program, and I want to help if I can with the athletic department and fundraising and things like that. So I'm having a meeting about that, see where I can get in where I fit in and just be a part of this and help them continue to do what they do, right? Just keep on rolling that thing and keep on going upstream. I love places with ambition, and our hometown has ambition. I love that.
Yeah,
so
man. That's great stuff, man. Yo, let's connect again soon, man. Absolutely love our time catching up. Good luck tomorrow. I know it's going to be a fantastic event, and keep us updated on that little note you just threw at us right there.
Oh, hey man, if I can make that work out, there's a lot of stuff has to happen. I have to decide. They have to decide. All this stuff has to happen. But if we can make those things line, that's kind of what I want to do with the next stage of my life. I'm not really into the television movie thing anymore. It's exceptionally fun. I'm good, and I'm like, I want to find a way to support something. I've never really supported anything except this. So I want to be a part of something and support something that's like this whole Sports Hall of Fame thing, just being part of a legacy and helping to lay the foundation for the future, I think would be really, really vital at this stage. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Love it.
All right, man. Go blue. Go blue, big dog. Let's go, baby.
Love you, brother. Appreciate you.
Hey, Stingers up. We'll see y'all, man.
All right. Yes, sir.